Morning, my name's Marie and this is my yarn journey. Today I'm going to be doing a video so you can follow along while I am doing a new sock technique. And part of my knitting journey is learning how to properly knit socks for myself, and learning lots of new and trying lots of new sock techniques along the way to find out what I like best. Yesterday I was watching Craft House Magic with her East Anglia Yarn Festival purchases and round the show. On her purchases video she mentioned that she'd bought a sock tube. Now I've always been intrigued by sock tubes and wondered what the point was, and then she mentioned that out of 100 grams skein she has a tutorial on her channel for knitting a full sock tube. You use the whole 100 grams and then you can create 2 pairs of socks doing the afterthought heel, etc. And I thought, oh, now that's interesting. I have loads of 100 gram hand-dyed skeins in my stash that I would like to turn into socks. And if you can, what a better way to use the whole skein, not have waste, and you've got 2 pairs of socks out of it. So I've had a look at the tutorial and I've picked out a yarn. I'm going to show you now. This is the yarn that I intend to use. It's one that I got in my wool swap. And it looks like, I'll show you the picture if I can, it looks as though it is going to be some sort of striping or patterned sock. So I'm going to cast that on today and I will update you once I've done that. I'm excited to try this new technique and hopefully it'll work out. Hello, just thought I'd come on and do a quick update. It's been about a week since I cast on the sock tube. I'm just knitting on it here and there, a bit each day, to try and get it done. And I'll try and show you now on camera what it's looking like. I need to actually weigh, this is what's left on the ball. I really need to weigh this and see how much is left, and then I can get an idea. But like I say, I'm just going to keep knitting until I do. Then with the last bit I'll do the cuff at the other end. So maybe by this coming weekend I'll be able to do the video showing me putting in the toes and the heels and everything. I'm excited to try. I've just turned the camera around now so that I can give you an idea of the length. That's the arm of my sofa, or on my arm maybe for context. I'd say I've probably done the length of 2 socks almost now. Well, maybe that's a bit ambitious. Maybe it's a sock and a half, who knows. Anyways, I'll keep going and then I'll update you. Just thought I would come on and well, let you see me weighing my yarn so we can see where I'm up to. Just switch the scales on. Ooh, 61. Still just a bit over halfway to go, but the sock tube's coming along nicely now. Well, it's finally finished. The sock tube is done. So I'm just going to turn the camera around and then I can show you. I'm going to measure it and show you what length it is. Well, today is the day that I actually cut into my sock tube and add the heels and cuffs. I've picked out my colours, which I'll show you in a minute before I start. I'm going to set you up on my desk so that you can follow along as I do it. Anyway, it's the first time I've ever cut into any knitting, so wish me luck. Okay, so I've got my iPad set up now with the tutorial. Just as a reminder, the tutorial is from Craft House Magic, and I am just going to start now, and I'll probably put some music over while I'm doing this and do a bit of a talk at the end. So she's just said to, I'm not sure you can see this in shot, but I've folded it in half, and she's just said to put a stitch marker in at the midway point, which is what I'm going to do now. So I'm just using a light bulb stitch marker to mark that. Then she says to fold that up again so that you're left with enough space, because you've got your cuff on those two socks and then you need the cuff on the other two. So I'll just continue now. I would say that this yarn is a little bit splitty. It's coming out relatively easy, but it is quite splitty, so that's just something to be aware of. She does say that you can add, you can pick your stitches up first, or you can use scrap yarn or something, but I just wanted to follow along and try exactly the way that she had done it. It is quite nerve-wracking doing this, I must say. Now with this one, because I'm separating the tube, I do need to go right the way around so I end up with two separate pieces. I'm deliberately doing this very, very carefully and very, very slowly because I want to minimise the drop stitches. I'm just going to remove this stitch marker because I feel as though it may be in the way now. maybe doing this will give me the confidence in the future to make more fixes and alterations to garments. You have to do a similar technique. It'll be nice if this does work out and I can do this again, but we shall see if it's worth it in the end. I certainly enjoyed the process of knitting the tube up. It has been a good mindless project. If I did it again as well, I'd know that I can, because I weighed the yarn at the end, I know that the cuff with the 18 rows didn't take up as much yarn as I was expecting. So I think I started the last cuff before I cast off when I had 8.8 grams, I think it was. You will have seen that in the video anyway, because I did show when I was weighing it. And then I think after finishing the cuff I was left with about 5 grams, so it did only take about 3 grams to do the cuff and the cast off. The only thing is my standard bind off is really tight, and I haven't found a way to resolve that. My cast on is absolutely fine, it's lovely and stretchy and quite neat, but my bind off isn't. So that's what I found when I did my last pair of socks toe up. So I've did I think it's Jenny's stretchy bind off, and you can see a difference in how the cuffs are finished, unfortunately. So that's one downside I've found this tube. So as you can see, I've got 2 totally separate socks now, and I'll just watch the next part of the video to see what she does. I was thinking as well, if you were to do these sock tubes with 100 grams and you actually wanted to use the whole 100 grams, a good way to do it would be to choose your contrasting yarn in the beginning and then knit your cuff and then join on your main colour, and then carry on knitting until that you've got enough to do to weave in your end, but then knit your cuff in a contrasting colour as well. That at both ends of this tube, that may be another way to get you know, get every little gram used up, as it were. Okay, so my yarn is at one side now, and I'm just going to check these stitches. So I've got 32 on both needles now, so I'll just have a look to see what Ellie does next. Okay, I've just come on to do a little update before I continue with the sock tubes. I'll show you what I'm up to at the moment. I've not done any on these, I must admit, for about a week now. Just got busy doing another item, but I'm hoping to have the video up for you tomorrow, so fingers crossed with that. Okay, so if you remember, I don't know what I said in the last clip because I can't remember, but here's one sock. The other sock matching to that is on my needles now. I just need to do a couple of rows on here and then do the sewn bind off. Then I have this sock which I've done the toe on, and the cuff was knit when I was knitting the tube. And again, this is the last piece. Now this one, as you can see, I've unravelled it, but I just need to pick up the stitches, but I've only got one needle available at the moment, and it's on here. So what I'm hoping to do tonight is finish this cuff, do this toe, and then I am going to cut into the tubes and do the heels, and then I'll try them on and show you what it's like. Oh, I know what I could do. I've just had a thought. I can put this as my heel on the two socks that have got the same cuff and then this toe, and then I could put the purple that I've used for this toe for the heels on my neons. Yes, I think that's what I might do. So I've now got four finished pieces, 2 pairs. I've just got to do the heel, which is the next stage of this. So as you can see, I've measured out on the sock here where I'm going to put in the afterfoot heel. In Ellie's tutorial, she says that you need to do measure your foot and then do 2 inches less than your foot measurement. So that's what I've done, and I've marked it on all 4 of these socks, and now I'm going to put in those heels. Well, the first sock is finished. Fits pretty well, maybe a little bit tight here, but I'm pretty pleased with that, and I like the pop of colour that I put around the heel. What do we think? Maybe if I add a few more rows here before doing the heel, that would ease this part here. What do you think? Pretty good, eh? Only 3 more heels to do. Well, I've finally finished them. So I'm here to show you the finished article, the 2 pairs of socks that I've done from the sock tube. It's going to be a late one posting this tonight, and they're not blocked. I will show them blocked in my podcast, which I'm going to be recording on Thursday, so look out for that. And I will put some pictures up on the side here so that you can see them. I've got them on the blockers, but they're not blocked, so they still look a bit funky. As you can see, this is the first pair. I decided to do the neon cuff and toe, and I've got the heel in this darker purple colour. And then for the second pair, I have done the purple toe. The cuff was done in the main yarn, and then I chose this neon green to do the heel with. Now it's the first time I've ever done an afterthought heel, so that was all new for me. And I can't at the moment give any reviews on whether that's good or not. The fit seems good at the moment on my feet, but I don't know what the wear will be like and what they're going to be like after blocking, because it can change. Experience of knitting the sock tube. I really enjoyed knitting the actual tube, and it was a lot easier than I expected to do the afterthought heel and to do the toes, although it was more time consuming than I expected. The actual tube I just knit bit by bit over the last few weeks, and I have done these toes and heels in the last week or so. I definitely would do it again. They're not perfect. I've had a few issues. On my first pair, which was this pair, I did a band of colour here, and that was how many straight rows of knitting I did before doing my heel decreases. One thing to note about the afterthought heel is that it's really easy to memorise, the way that Ellie describes it in her tutorial. The toe and the heel are pretty much the same, and so once you've got that memorised, to come back and do that on your socks after is really easy. So that's something I'd definitely say is good about it, especially for beginners. But as I was saying, on this heel, it's the first time I'd ever done an afterthought heel, so I wasn't really sure what the fit was going to be like. Ellie had suggested in her video doing 2 rows of straight knitting before starting the decreases. Now I always have tightness across my socks that I normally do as a 64 stitch over this area here. And I'd heard, I think it was Laura Penrose talking about that, as she's trying to get the perfect fit for her socks at the moment. And she mentioned that she was doing some sort of shaping, or she was trying to do extra rows, I think, round her heel. So I thought I would do a couple of extra on here, which did mean I had a bit of a better fit, but it was still a bit tight on the first ones. So on my second socks, I think I picked up a few extra stitches in the section between, and then I also did an extra row of straight knitting before I did the decreases, and that has helped with the fit across this section of the sock. So in that way it was very easy to, after only having done 2 of the heels, to then see how I could adjust it to make it a better fit for my foot. The other point to mention is that, as I've already said in the video earlier, I've had a lot of trouble recently with my bind off. This is the cuff that looks the best, and that's because that was the original cuff that I cast on and knit, and I'd say that's the one that actually fits me the best. It's stretchy enough to get over my heel, and it looks neat even without blocking, and looks straight, and it, at the moment, I'd say that's my main con for doing the tube socks, in that I'll end up with one cuff, that's the cast on, sorry, that I know is going to be a good fit for me for socks, but then I'll end up with 3 cuffs that I've still not successfully, I don't think, got a bind off method that I'm happy with. But like I say, when I block these, that may change. I'm yet to do that, so I'll update you on Thursday when I'm doing the podcast, because I did the Jenny's Stretchy, which I showed you. That's quite wobbly. Now that does get over my heel really nicely, and I can get this sock on and off easily. But the problem with that is, number one, it doesn't really look pretty at the moment. It's really flared out. And then when it's actually on my ankle, because I've got quite a narrow ankle, it's quite loose, and I think that the sock is probably going to end up slouching down on this one. And the other bind off that I did do was the sewn bind off, and this on both of these, and as you can see on this one, it's really gone warped, and that's just with trying it on twice, because it is literally too tight and I can't seem to get it over my heel on and off without a lot of problems. Hope you can see that. Anyway, overall, I do think, like I say, it's been very, very successful. And I think if I could find those couple of tweaks, I would definitely be looking to do a lot more of these sock tubes. It's just a very, very easy and successful way to use up those special single skeins that we all buy. If you have a go at doing a sock tube, I'd love to hear your experiences in the comments. And if you have any ideas of what I can try for a better bind off for my sock cuff when doing this method, I'd love to hear that. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Happy knitting. Bye.